So whenever you're ready.
All right, so first we'd like you to tell us your name
Okay.
and your connection with the hospital.
Bob Cochran, and right now I'm not connected to the hospital.
I mean, in the past.
In the past, I was chairman of the foundation and chairman of the governing board.
Okay, great. Now, you were involved when they were going to build this new campus. So can you tell that story about how that came about and your involvement?
Well, I can tell you the story about the capital campaign. I wasn't involved in the initial planning, but the capital campaign, Intermountain decided, of course, after all their planning, to build a new hospital here, and their estimates were $90 million. And so they asked the foundation to make a contribution. So what we did at the foundation was we hired a consulting firm who came in and interviewed 50 of the really prominent citizens here in St. George or in the area. And when they delivered their report to us, they said, never in our wildest dreams would we ever raise more than $2.5 million. So we took that proposal or their report to the foundation board, and the board approved it unanimously -1. And that was me. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, Stonecliff, Kayenta, Entrada, we can raise more than $2.5 million. So I said, pardon me, oh hell, we can raise $10 million. And they blew my mind away when everybody said, okay. So that became our goal. And it turned from a $90 million hospital to a $100 million hospital, from a very good hospital to an exceptional one.
So, could you tell a little more about how you did that? How did we manage to raise that $10 million?
Okay, what we did was we had some local citizens, about 20 I would guess, that we asked to come in, and we discussed potential donors to the hospital. And they came up with probably 30 names of potential possible donors to the campaign. So after that time, we sat down, and the foundation sat down, and we reviewed all of those names and what we thought we could do. And our plan was that we would interview these donors plus probably 75 more. Always we would go in pairs. Two of us would always go to a presentation, and we were looking, of course, to raise $10 million. So that's how it got started. And so just as an aside, years before when they asked me to join the foundation, I said I'll do anything I can to promote the hospital except raise money. So anyway, we started out with the campaign. Two of us made the first ask, which was really our test ask. And we met with a couple in their home, and I asked them if they would consider contributing $30,000. This is our first ask. And what they said was, well, we would certainly like to support the hospital, and we'll commit to $25,000. Did I say 30 million? I meant 30,000. And so they committed to a contribution of 25,000, and that got us started. And so from that point, in these two-person teams, we met, I can't remember how many people that we talked to. I know that I quit counting after the 60th ask. Remember, I said I'd never ask for money. But anyway, I quit counting, and we were very fortunate in raising $11,700,000.
So your goal was $10 million,
Right.
and you even passed it.
Right. And one other interesting aside, not too long after that board meeting, of course, 9/11 happened. And so I drafted a letter to President Bill Nelson of Intermountain Healthcare and apologized for our ability to raise the $10 million, but I never sent it to him.
Great. I'm trying to think what else I need. Can you talk a little bit about the support of the community for this new campus? As you were going out, what was the feeling? What was the support of the community at large?
The support was very good, almost overwhelming, in that the 400 campus was just overdone, overcrowded, and so it was very obvious that something had to be done. And IHC did a survey and decided that it would be futile to build onto the 400 East campus. So that's how the planning for the new hospital came about, and then the decision to go ahead and build it. Everyone we talked to, with two exceptions, everyone I talked to anyway, with two exceptions, were very enthusiastic about the new hospital. So it was very good.
So would you say that this wasn't just an Intermountain Healthcare project? I forgot to say, try not to say IHC. You would say this building was not just an Intermountain Healthcare project. This was the community.
This was the community, and the community supported us with their $11 million in contribution. And of course that enabled Intermountain Healthcare to build a better hospital than they originally planned.
Okay.
I want to discuss the troubles with the site once the site was selected and any cost impacts
Yeah.
that meant.
Did you know anything about that, the building part?
Yeah, I really wasn't too involved in that phase of it. I was involved in the latter stages of planning the building, but I wasn't involved in the actual construction.
Okay. So you were on the board for a lot of years. Do you have any other stories, other things that you were involved in besides building this campus?
Oh, yeah, lots of them. But of course, the big one was the capital campaign and the construction and opening of this facility. That was really the main focus. All the time I was on the foundation board, and then of course going on to the governing board. That was just being involved in management of the hospital.
Okay. Do you have any great memories of what this new hospital meant to this community, what it's done?
One of my favorite stories involves Dr. Millar, of course. About a week after we opened the hospital, we opened it November 23rd of 2001, and about a week later, a 40-year-old man came into the emergency room complaining of chest pains. And so they checked him over and rushed him upstairs to the second floor to the operating room. And Dr. Millar just happened to be in the hospital. It was late in the afternoon. He just happened to be in the hospital and looked at the patient and decided that they had to open his chest right then. And so they did. Dr. Millar did. And the result was he had a ruptured aorta. And when they opened his chest, there was a fountain of blood about 15 feet across the room. Amazingly, the man recovered and walked out of the hospital 5 days later.
It's pretty amazing.
Really. So there's been a lot of amazing stories since then, but primarily in the cardiovascular area. And Dr. Millar did a marvelous job. We miss him already. He's been gone on a mission, and we miss him.
Right.
Is there any funny stories that come to mind, or major challenges that happened during that process?
Well, of course, the major challenge was trying to raise the 11 or $10 million. Our consultants told us that we had to raise or had to secure a minimum of 5 $1 million contributions in order to make the $10 million. As it turned out, we only raised 4 $1 million contributions, but one was for $2 million, one was for $1.2 million, and the other two were for $1 million each. So we made the $5 million that they projected.
Great. Did you have a lot of smaller donations?
Oh, yeah. The smallest well, the largest was $2 million. The smallest was 300, and of course the whole gamut in between.
So a lot of people got involved.
A lot of people got involved. I don't remember the number, but it was a lot, because we got an awful lot of $5,000 and $10,000 commitments that made up that difference between the 5 million and the 11.
How long have you been in the St. George area? Were you from here originally?
No, I've been here 24 years.
And what kinds of changes have you seen in healthcare in the years that you've been here?
Well, of course, open heart surgery, newborn intensive care, the emergency room, which is, a level 3 trauma center. It used to be a level 4 until we moved into this building. In a couple of years, it'll be a level 2. So we've seen a lot of amazing things. And of course, life flight helicopter now. And the plan right now is beginning in 2013. Intermountain has committed to a $187 million building project over the next 5 years, and they've asked us to contribute or raise in philanthropy $18 million of that. So we've got another big challenge ahead. And I keep saying we, although I'm not involved anymore.
Well, you're an honorary member. So what do you think, you mentioned all those things that have happened in healthcare. What do you think that means to the community, people who live here?
I really think what it means is for almost everything, no matter what the injury or illness is, they can come here instead of traveling to Salt Lake City or Las Vegas. I think that's the big thing. The second largest thing, or an equally large thing, is the high quality of the staff here. It just blows you away. So those are the two main things. And of course, once we become a level 2 trauma center, about the only thing that we'll probably never be able to do here is open heart or heart transplants, because a surgeon needs about 75 of those procedures a year to keep his skill set up, and it's estimated we might have 14. So we'll probably, if ever, long time before we do heart transplants here, but everything else we'll be able to do here.
So you mentioned today how great it is to have life flight. 25 years ago, how did they handle those type of traumatic injuries?
Well, generally what they did was they brought them in by ambulance to the emergency room where they were examined and so on, and then an ambulance took them out to the airport, and a fixed-wing airplane flew them to either Las Vegas or Salt Lake City. But the problem with that is there wasn't room for the family. There had to be the nurses and technical staff that go along, so the family either had to stay here or they had to drive, let's say Salt Lake City, and find accommodations up there. Once we got life flight here and once we had the skill sets that we have, that's no longer a problem because they can stay right here at home and be with their loved one.
Great. Anything else?
That's good.
I think that's good.
Great.
Thanks so much.
You